We're going live, Mike.
One.
Okay, we're going live. 3, 2.
Welcome to Liverpool Live. I'm Adam Jackson-Wright with the afternoon news. Headlines this afternoon. Merseyside police have issued a warning over knife crime incidents in Liverpool. Wirral Councillor Pat Hackett is to resign, and people have flocked to the pierhead today to welcome the Scarlet Lady cruise liner. Merseyside police have issued a word of warning after knife crime incidents in Liverpool have doubled. PC Mark McNichol highlighted the severity of the problem at the launch of a new anti-knife crime campaign.
Basically to up the tolerance of people. People think it's acceptable to carry a knife. We know that there's youths out there, 13, 14, 15 years old, and think it's acceptable, and it's almost normalised that they go out and carry a knife. This is a message that obviously we want to change that. It's not normal. People will ring the police, people do report stuff to us. And
the Nosler Youth Cabinet have launched a pin bid in the aid of combating knife crime. The students have pulled together from across the borough to openly talk about the effects of carrying a knife. The money will go towards the Adam Foundation. April Beedman is the designer of the new badge.
It's like a horrible thing to talk about, but it does need to be said. I don't think many people realise, like they'll hear it on the news, they'll hear people talking about it, but I don't think many people take it in, how the tragedy it's causing for families, to friends, to schools. So hopefully people see this logo, people will take part in the campaign, and awareness will be spread.
After only a year in office, Wirral Council leader Pat Hackett is to step down. He was first selected as a councillor in 1994. Reflecting on his time in politics, he said it had been a pleasure and a privilege to serve the Wirral, and that he looks forward to watching the Wirral continue to grow and prosper. Earlier today, the Scarlet Lady docked into Pier Head. She is the first ship in Virgin's new Luxury Voyages fleet. With an impressive 78 suites on board, the liner even has a tattoo parlour. It will sail from April 2020. Incidents of racial abuse in the Premier League are said to be affecting some of Merseyside's youngest football players. Reports of racism in children's and grassroots football matches has always been significant, but reported cases has risen in recent months. Anti-racism charity Kick It Out says that the answer lies with the parents. Our reporter Swift Drew has more.
Recently, the conversation around racial abuse has been at the forefront of Premier League football. With an audience that spans all ages, the influence that this racism is having on the younger generation continues to be a cause for concern. Tejan Hutton from the anti-racism charity Kick It Out has experienced it firsthand.
I can say from a personal perspective, I've been called numerous racial slurs by the time I was 12 years old. So it's something that I've experienced from a personal standpoint, and whilst working at Kick It Out, it's reports that we get literally every other week. There's a major lack of education, and it has been since the inception of football in this country, where adults haven't been educated on the effects of racially abusing somebody else. And as a result, what you have is a lingering stench of racial abuse that's continued over the period of time. And then what happens is that ideology of racially abusing somebody else that is deemed okay, that trickles down from generation to generation to generation. And so what you're finding is a lot of young players as young as 10, 12, 11 years old are surrounded by that particular mindset.
This is Sophie Drew for Liverpool Life.
Angry Greevy residents are protesting over Wirral Council's plans to build on Greenbelt land. The local plan document that the council has produced to plan for future population growth is currently in the consultation phase. Phil Simpson is leading the campaign in Greasby against the proposed new builds.
There are two big proposals to build on Greenbelt. We're saying that there is no need to build the houses on Greenbelt. Any houses that we need can all be covered on brownfield sites. Indeed, the council themselves are saying that it's a brownfield first approach. Well, that sounds good until you realise that at this moment in time, as we stand here today, they have only found enough brownfield sites for 9,250 homes, which means 2,500 has got to be found.
Tux's TV Video Odyssey held a special day in memory of late Kobe Bryant, a month after he was killed in a helicopter crash. It celebrates the impact of his career, the impact he had with future basketball generations. David Hargreaves is one of the organisers of the event.
Celebrate his life, not focus too much on the death, obviously, but just his influence, and his the Mamba mentality, what that means. And if someone's inspired from it today, that's great. The idea of it is, look at the strength of his mind, how he was so resilient, such a leader in the community of the world community, as in basketball's popular globally. So, we've got a small basketball community in Liverpool and Merseyside, so for us to come together and share some moments is nice.
Local animal activist Team Tino took to the streets over the weekend to tell the public of the harm humans can apparently cause to many species. Though many scientists consider meat eating to be part of a healthy diet, the group insists a diet free of meat products is far more beneficial to individuals and also the planet. Brian Pritchard is a member of the group and appears at a number of protests across Merseyside.
Just about every process, everything we do in life, we some way interact or affect animals. We don't need to do that, so we want to bring it to as many people's attention just how much of a horror show life is for many animals, or most animals on the earth.
A new attraction has opened in Liverpool. Game Over has opened a new escape room on Kempton Street. Robert Robinson spoke to the people behind it.
The latest attraction to hit Liverpool requires skill, patience and nerve. Escape rooms are quickly becoming a go-to place for team-building exercises and birthday parties. Owner Samir Patel believes the place will be a hit.
Well, basically, it's great fun for all the family. If you can come as a couple, you can come as a group of friends. If you want, children can enjoy it as well. And it's just something different, basically. How many times can people go to bowling? A lot of outdoor activities due to the weather, they can't do it. This is something that can be done indoors. It's great fun for anybody and everybody, really.
And now here's Ewan with the sports news. Ewan.
Thanks, Adam. Liverpool moved to within 4 wins of the Premier League title last night as they came from behind against West Ham United to win 3-2. In an unusually lacklustre display from the Reds at Anfield, Liverpool found themselves 2-1 down with 20 minutes to go. They piled on the pressure and eventually goals from Mo Salah and Sadio Mane secured yet another win. Manager Jurgen Klopp has said the team are already looking forward to the next game.
Just in the situation and want to recover and want to prepare the next one, because the next opponent is really waiting and wants to fight us, the whole stadium at Watford will go for us. It's completely normal. There will be a special atmosphere and we have to be 100% ready.
Elsewhere in the Premier League, Everton suffered defeat against Arsenal, losing 3-2 at the Emirates. The Toffees took the lead inside the first minute with a wonderful acrobatic effort from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but sloppy defending and wasted chances meant Everton fell to defeat. Manager Carlo Ancelotti believes improvements are needed.
To be good, you have to attack well, and we did, and you have to defend well, and we didn't. So I cannot be satisfied for this.
It wasn't all bad for Everton, however, as Andre Gomes made his return to the first team after he broke his leg against Tottenham in early November. The Portuguese midfielder was a key player for Everton early on in the season. In the women's football, both Everton and Liverpool were beaten this weekend. Liverpool's 4-2 defeat against West Ham saw them drop to the bottom of the table, and relegation now looks almost unavoidable for the Reds. Everton lost 3-2 to Manchester United, but more worryingly for them, it's been announced that defender Gabby George has suffered an anterior cruciate ligament injury that will keep her out for at least a month. And finally, it was a bad weekend for St Helens Rugby League team, who lost the World Club Challenge final against the Sydney Roosters. The Roosters have now won the tournament for a record 5th time.
I can say from a personal perspective, I've been called numerous racial slurs by the time I was 12 years old. So it's something that I've experienced from a personal standpoint, and whilst working at Kick It Out. It's reports that we get literally every other week. There's a major lack of education, and it has been since the inception of football in this country, where adults haven't been educated on the effects of racially abusing somebody else. And as a result, what you have is a lingering stench of racial abuse.
We apologise for playing you that clip. You've already heard that earlier on in the bulletin. Now back to Adam.
Thanks, Stuart. Finally,
So what you find
today would have been George Harrison's 77th birthday, and in memory of the Beatles legend, a new memorial woodland is set to open in South Liverpool, close to where George grew up. So now, the time is 10 past 1, sorry, goodbye.